Hey, what's up guys, Totallydubbed here, and today I'm going to give you a video review slash overview slash thoughts on the Battlefield 4 PC beta. So I've been playing this for quite a little bit now, and in this video you'll see loads of little clips, all different array of clips, knifing, sniping, that rhymed, tank, everything basically. I play as every class, and I always intend to play as every class, and I always try and use everything that I can that is available on the game. But I have some thoughts and opinions that I would like to share with you guys on the beta. So first and foremost I should say, I understand it's a beta, so there's going to be problems, there's going to be glitches, there's going to be graphical problems as well, there's going to be game play tweaks that will probably be taken into effect into the final version, and there are other small little things that should change. So this is definitely not a review of Battlefield 4, it's more of thoughts and opinions on the Battlefield 4 beta. So before getting into this, I should also state that a lot of people have experienced problems. I had no problems whatsoever, and by problems I mean on the PC, people were experiencing 5 frames per second, 10 frames per second with absolutely beast PCs, and by beast PCs I mean dual SLI setups, 560 Ti's, GTX 680s, 780s, you name it. Even a guy with Titans had problems. So there's been a lot of problems with the graphics card and everything like that with certain people, but with me I had zero problems with the normal drivers, but that said, I did get a little bit of stuttering, and with the beta drivers, which I put on day one, I had zero problems. I've had no stuttering, no real drop in frame rates or anything like that, and I've really enjoyed playing Battlefield 4 quite smoothly. My PC specs are between my PC specs have a i7 3770K overclocked at 4.5 GHz and a GTX 680, and my frames per second I get at 1080p and ultra with a field of view around 90 or 120 is between 35, and that's when looking at the skyscraper and vigorously shaking my screen. That's 35 frames per second up to 85-90 frames per second. So that's the frames per second I get with my setup. So in that respect, and reason I mentioned all of that, all those specs and those frames per second, is because Battlefield 4 is indeed a graphically intense game. It is definitely a step up from Battlefield 3, and I think there will be maps out there that will challenge graphics cards out there even more, and will push them even more. Especially there's more VRAM being used on the graphics card. And the recommended is 2 GB, and whereas most people have 2 GB, AMD cards will be preferred, especially because AMD are partnering up with EA to try and give a more fluid gaming experience. But anyway, my point is, it's going to challenge your graphics cards out there. My GTX 680 is no weak card. It easily maxed out Battlefield 3. I never dropped under 60 frames per second on Battlefield 3 with a 680. Sure, at times there were some problems, but in all honesty, my average was 60 frames per second. I was looking at between 45 and 135 frames per second on Battlefield 3, and this was on ultra presets again. So there's a huge performance difference on Battlefield 4, and it can be seen. Now, I know it's the beta, and people are like, oh, the graphics are really bad, and they are reasonably bad, but that said, the graphics are quite decent, and for a non-final game to push the graphics card that hard, I don't really want to imagine how hard the graphics card is going to have to work when it comes to the final game, because it's gonna require a lot of graphical power right there. So it's definitely a challenging game for people out there, and I definitely think that it's going to be a game that will be graphically intense and will demand people to upgrade if they want to have a nice and more fluid experience. So that's something to be noted. and something that I should definitely note, especially when it comes to PC, with console and PS3 and and the next gen consoles, Xbox One and PS4. They won't have a problem at all, but the graphics really can't be compared at all. If I played the Xbox 360 beta, and it's like playing on 2007 graphics, and by that I honestly mean they've taken a step back in graphics with the Battlefield 4 beta specifically. Battlefield 3 looks 10 times better than the Battlefield 4 beta on Xbox 360, but at least on the PC we've got a nice and decent graphics. Still not brilliant, but quite great. So apart from that, now apart from its performance and you might need to upgrade type thing, there's also the gameplay. Now the gameplay for me I find so much funner, and I have to say it's got down to one word and one word only, and that's suppression. The fact that suppression has been toned down a hell of a lot has just increased my enjoyment of the game. And you guys will probably see that from most of the clips I play as a sniper, and as a sniper on Battlefield 3, if you don't get that first shot away, then you're absolutely screwed over. You won't be able to do anything, because when your next shot will just be shooting at Moon or Jupiter or something like that, because it'll come nowhere near your enemy. So it's just great that suppression's just been toned down, meaning snipers actually have a chance on one-on-ones now, whereas before they had no chance. So it's people which were used to Bad Company 2, sniping in Bad Company 2, or previous games, previous Battlefields, 2142, Bad Company 1 and whatnot, they'll be quite happy to know that the suppressions have been toned down. It's not removed totally, it's definitely still there, but it's so much lower than Battlefield 3 that it makes the whole gameplay experience so much more enjoyable, because you no longer have the stupid scenarios where your bullets are not hitting your enemies at all. So I really like what Battlefield have done, but that said, when I say I really like what they've done, I really feel that Battlefield 4 is what Battlefield 3 should have been. And I'm not talking about graphics, I'm just talking about gameplay. So as you saw, I mentioned about suppression, that's a huge factor for me. But not only that, the whole game feels different. Battlefield 3, I mean, I know there'll be a lot of haters out there which will be like, oh no, you're wrong, Chris, you can't say that. Well, Battlefield 3 felt like Call of Duty. It was a glorified Call of Duty. You play Team Deathmatch and you tell me that isn't bloody Call of Duty. Spawn instantly, die from behind. That was before the patches were out and stuff. And it was just ridiculous. The whole gameplay feel of it was just ridiculous. Battlefield 4 on the other hand, even though on close quarters and even on domination where you're at really close quarters, it still doesn't feel like Call of Duty. It feels like Battlefield and what Battlefield should have felt like when I played Battlefield 3. But unfortunately that's not the feeling I got when I played Battlefield 3, and I still don't get that feeling. I literally can't go and play Battlefield 3 again. I went back and I utterly hated it. I played 5 to 30 minutes of it after playing Battlefield 4 just to see how it is, and I just rage quit basically. I was just annoyed, and I'm not a bad player, don't get me wrong, and I don't want to sound boastful with that either, but I'm not a bad player, but it just, you have to play like a Call of Duty player to enjoy Battlefield 3, and by that I mean grab your M16 out, grab your noob tubes out, grab the bloody assault kit out and start playing. Forget you being a sniper. You can almost forget being you an engineer when there's no tanks or whatnot around. It's just an utterly rubbish game in my opinion, and I've played that game for over 400 hours, so I've got a right to an opinion, and I really do feel that Battlefield 3 is a piss take, but it really does show when you compare it to Battlefield 4, because Battlefield 4 is the real benchmark, because the last time we had Battlefield was Battlefield 2, and that's ages ago. So the last comparison you could have was Bad Company 2, and Bad Company 2 really can't be compared to Battlefield, the series, because they're completely different style of plays. I would say even Bad Company 2 is just a fun shooter, whereas Battlefield is more of a serious shooter. So when you compare Battlefield 3 and 4, you will understand that you've got that Battlefield 2 or slash Battlefield 2142 feel to it, but with the Battlefield 3 engine and the graphics and whatnot, of this modern look and whatnot of it. So EA slash DICE have done a great job in that respect. However, as I said, it's a bit disappointing that Battlefield 3 wasn't like this. So overall, I do feel it's quite balanced. The gameplay does feel quite balanced, no matter what class I play. But there's one thing that stands out more than anything to me. One is the support class has become a little bit useless. But that said, you've got the X25 burst, I think it's called, and that kind of evens it out in terms of trying to take out vehicles and small infantry vehicles and whatnot with it. But the assault class is so overpowered yet again on Battlefield 4 that it's just disgusting. People which have played the beta will know what I'm talking about. AK-12, I mean, you saw in a clip just before, and hopefully you saw that and understood straight away, like, what the hell. AK-12, you can shoot cross map and get headshots and whatnot, and there's zero recoil and whatnot, and there's a bigger clip than an M16 was in Battlefield 3. It's just a new, supposedly in brackets and in speech marks, shall I say, quotation marks, the new competitive weapon to use. Like all the competitive players were saying, oh yeah, but if you played competitively, you'd know what I'm talking about. Yeah, whatever, loser. You know, you stick to one weapon, that's great for you. But for the rest of us, we have to deal with M16s shooting with us. And over here, it's the AK-12. So I really hope they tone down the AK-12. Apart from that, the game is pretty nice, and I definitely preferred the PC over the Xbox in terms of gameplay, simply because of the bigger map and the better graphics. I definitely really enjoyed it. So to summarize, Battlefield 4 Beta is definitely fun to play and is a really nice game to play, and I can't wait for Battlefield 4 to come out. But that said, I hope that EA do tone down some stuff and do sort out some glitches and bugs like you just saw now. Anyway guys, totally dubbed out. Bye bye.